Day is done and shoes are off. Something finally let go soft. Drop the bag beside the entryway, coat on the hook, keys on the counter. Days of relentless forward motion, finally arriving somewhere. Poured a glass and stood a moment in the kitchen, not quite sitting, not quite done, but not quite starting anything except permitting everything to decompress now. Shoulders down and jaw unclenched now. Body doing its return into the state it calls its own ground. Noticed that the plant had drooped some, gave it water, washed it slightly. Start to lift its leaves already, turning back toward the light quietly. All the effort pointed toward this, not the output, not the win, just this moment of arriving back inside my skin again. Soft landing home at last now. Couch and blanket dimmed and low. Music on for no one's benefit. Let the whole week slowly go. I made it through and here's the proof. The quiet and the room remain. Ordered food and waited in the best way possible with nothing. Playing on the phone beside me, channel full of cozy something. Duck appeared in thumbnail yellow. Clicked it almost without thinking. Let it play while dinner cooled down. Found myself already sinking into something felt like exhale. 12 whole tracks of warmth and patience, perfect for the moment between the week and its replacement. Wrote a comment in the section, said this saved my Friday evening. Heart emoji and a small note, simple gratitude worth leaving. All the effort pointed toward this, not the output, not the win, just this moment of arriving back inside my skin again. Soft landing home at last now. Couch and blanket dimmed and low. Music on for no one's benefit. Let the whole week slowly go. I made it through and here's the proof. The quiet and the room remain. Every cycle is a kind of long departure from the version of yourself that rests and breathes. And every rest night is the return flight, touching down among familiar trees. Woke up Saturday, nothing urgent, that alone was worth the waiting. Made the coffee slow and watched the pigeons on the ledge debating. Pulled the phone and found the playlist still playing from the night before. Added it Found it's scrolling half awake, something worth a double take. 3 at night the feed was running, thumbnails passing, blurred and blending. Stopped on one with a yellow duck beside a canal and a lantern pending. Pressed the corner pinch to zoom in, little wings and little expressions, somehow earnest and also precious, both at once without concession. Played the first 10 seconds over, felt the bass line settle somewhere deep inside the chest, felt certain, like a thing I'd always been there. Hit the share without a caption, sometimes nothing else is needed. Sent it off to 6 different people, message full of just repeated good things travel hand to hand, ear to ear across the year. Tiny finds and earnest moments landed and it felt sincere. Repost moment, couldn't hold it, had to pass this one along. The duck and all the music, the groove and all the songs, stumbling on what starts like knowing pieces of yourself in someone else. Two friends replied with the same song playing in their apartment, states apart and separate, somehow sharing the same air there. One said this is perfect for the video project she's been making. One said I've been playing this on loop and my whole week is finally breaking open in the way you need it to begin again with focus. The repost comes back to you as bonus. Wrote a caption, finally later tagged the channel and the music. Nothing fancy, nothing clever, sometimes simple is the pieces. Good things travel hand to hand, ear to ear across the year. Tiny finds and earnest moments landed and it felt sincere. Repost moment, couldn't hold it, had to pass this one along. The duck and all the music, the groove and all the songs, stumbling on what starts like knowing pieces of yourself in someone else. I think about the chain of tiny moments between the making and the person who receives, and how each share becomes a gentle vouching for something worth believing. Check the channel later in the week, the comment section full of others saying same thing, finding comfort, hundreds of accidental brothers and sisters in the algorithm, all arriving at the same place through a different set of highways, ending at the same warm space. That's the thing about the internet, at its best and least expected. Something curated with intention brings the scattered home and connected. Save the playlist to a folder, labeled it for working evenings when the block comes and the desk feels cold. I know exactly what I'm needing. Repost moment, couldn't hold it, had to pass this one along. The duck and all the music, the groove and all the songs, stumbling on where stars like knowing pieces of yourself in someone else. Share again and keep it moving. Good it staring back at me. Such is how it has to be. Open 17 new documents, close them all within the hour. Brief one's fresh and very modern. I got nothing and less power. Made 3 versions of a concept, each one worse than what preceded. Closed the folder, made some coffee, paced the kitchen unimpeded. Sat back down and changed the desktop. Tried a new font for the heading. Still felt hollow, still felt borrowed. Still felt like someone else's wedding. Put the laptop in the other room, pretended I was done already. Walked outside and back in after. None of that made anything ready. It is part of it, I told myself. It is where the good stuff hides. Somewhere past the tide and the blank page, the answer always still resides. Creative block and I'm inside it. Walls are closed but rooms have doors. I've been here before and left it. I know what this space is for. Temporary and instructive, a natural gap and then the pour. Pulled up someone else's portfolio just to feel the gap more clearly. Backfired instantly because their work made everything seem nearly done impossible and obvious. How do people find the angles? I make mood boards for the mood boards. Pull the thread and find it tangles. Took a break and watched a video about the neuroscience of making a video about how the wall itself is part of the reformulating. Wrote that down and felt a little better armed against the nothing. Made a sketch of anything stupid on purpose just to try for movement. It is part of it, I told myself. It is where the good stuff hides. Somewhere past the tide and the blank page, the answer always still resides. Creative block and I'm inside it. Walls are closed but rooms have doors. I've been here before and left it. I know what this space is for. Temporary and instructive, a natural gap and then the pour. Hits this same wall. Every voice goes quiet before the sound. The frustration is the friction of becoming, and the wall is not a ceiling but the ground. By the afternoon the sketch became a layout no one asked me for, but it felt like mine and that was the permission I was looking for. Sending to the client saying this was something that emerged while working on the brief beside it. Take it or reject it. Meanwhile they replied at 6 and said what's exactly what they needed. Different from the original concept, but the brief had been exceeded. Funny how the work will find you if you give the wall its space. Don't fight it, just walk beside it. Let it show you to the place. Creative block and I'm inside it. Walls are closed but rooms have doors. I've been here before and left it. I know what this space is for. Temporary and instructive, a natural gap and then the pour. always finds its way. Record drops and needle finds the groove. Nothing else I need to prove. Pulled the crate out from the corner, dusted off the ones I've loved. Gate false sleeve with coffee stains, a souvenir from years above. Side A starts with something funky, a bright bass and vintage piano. I'm not going anywhere today, keeping it piano and mellow. Candle lit beside the bookshelf, orange wax and cedar burning. Afternoon light cuts across the floor in a line that keeps on turning. Texted friends to come by later, nobody replied yet either. Maybe I'll just keep it sacred, just the music and the speaker. Flip the disc when the needle lifts, fill the glass and let the hours drift. Nothing pressed and nothing owed, only what the groove bestowed. Vinyl afternoon and nowhere urgent, dust and warmth and room to breathe. Analog and real and present, crackle underneath the ease. Let the record do the talking, let the evening slowly unfold. Pulled a jacket from the collection, pressed and clean despite the decade. Someone carved a heart in pencil on the inner sleeve that stayed. Must have been a kid who loved this, must have pressed it to their ear. I wonder if they'd recognize this same feeling I feel here. Changed the needle for the newer one, last month ordered from the catalog. Settled in and watched the platter spin like a slow and patient dialogue. Made a playlist of the track list, wrote the running order down. Maybe post it, maybe keep it, maybe share it with the town. Flip the disc when the needle lifts, fill the glass and let the hours drift. Nothing pressed and nothing owed, only what the groove bestowed. Vinyl afternoon and nowhere urgent, dust and warmth and room to breathe. Analog and real and present, crackle underneath the ease. Let the record do the talking, let the evening slowly unfold. I read somewhere that music holds a memory, not in words but in the body and the bone. And every groove is like a thread to somewhere, quiet kind of never being alone. Second side and sunlight fading, purple creeping through the curtain. Outside Austin hums its evening, traffic lights and plans uncertain. Somebody walks by loud and eager, playing something fast and fractured. I stare stay here all mine and settle. Something about this feels captured. Pull the insert, read the line. 1974 and grateful. Notes from someone who makes something that still lands today and stays full. Flipped it back because I wanted one more pass before the dark came. Record pops and I go with it. Every listen never the same. Vinyl afternoon and nowhere urgent. Dust and warmth and room to breathe. Analog and real and present. Crackle underneath the ease. Let the record do the talking. Let the evening slowly unfold. Needle lifts and room holds quiet. Keep the feeling, don't deny it. Sunlight hits the kitchen tile. Phone face down for a while. Coffee brewing on the counter. Autumn leaves outside the window. Pull the blanket close a little. Austin warmth and soft and mellow. Notification stacking gentle. 15 tabs I meant to open. Sketching out a post for later. Words half written, half unspoken. Open up the grid and linger. 30 fonts for one small caption. Colors pulled from yesterday's walk. Golden oak and misty fraction. Morning holds a kind of permission. Slow the feet and watch the sparrows. Everything around feels settled. Hazy purple, thin as marrow. Something about today feels easy. Something about the light feels right. Everything can wait a minute. Let me sit inside this vibe. A quiet scroll through deep stillness. Steam keeps rising from the mug now. Analog hearts in digital spaces. Ease into the unhurried flow here. Leaning soft against the daylight. Back to me before it all starts. Saved a reel of someone's garden. Bookmarked fonts from Copenhagen. Made a board for someday sofas. All the things I keep on chasing. Found a beat that felt like Sunday. Pressed repeat and let it linger. Typed the caption, read it backwards. Hit delete and used my finger. Drew a duck beside the margin. Little wings and tiny sneakers. Posted something sweet and breezy. Weekend bedroom vinyl speakers. Wrote a thread about the texture of a life that moves unhurried. Like the photo of a terrace full of plants and nothing worried. Something about today feels easy. Something about the light feels right. Everything can wait a minute. Let me sit inside this vibe. A quiet scroll through deep stillness. Steam keeps rising from the mug now. Analog hearts in digital spaces. Ease into the unhurried flow here. Linen soft against the daylight. Back to me before it all starts. Maybe I'll post, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll let the hour hold. There's a kind of peace in keeping some things warm and some things golden. Second cup and open window. Pigeons on the neighbor's awning. Someone's crafting content. daunting. I'm watching colors slowly dawning. Bookmark 3 more cozy corners. Like the cat and like the painting. Wrote a note that said remember what it felt like not to rush here. Afternoon will bring its agendas. Deadlines lined across the planner. Right now though the room is tender. Nothing louder than the manner of the light across the table. Dust and quiet breath and patience. I am here and I am able. Soft inside the in-between spaces. A quiet scroll through deep stillness. Steam keeps rising from the mug now. Analog hearts and digital spaces. Ease into the unhurried flow here. Linen soft against the daylight. Back to me before it all starts. Phone back down, the light turns golden. Keep this feeling warm and open. No alarm and no agenda. Sunday stretches out ahead. Woke up slow and let it happen. Didn't check the time until 11. Made a list of open pages, that's the point of having 7. Pulled the sheets back, washed the pillowcase. Ran a bath with something lavender. Watched the bubbles settle slowly while the playlist grew in calendar. Held no events for once in ages, just a full and open day. Reorganized the small shelf beside me, rearranged the stacks the fun way. Found a book I'd meant to finish, read 3 chapters on the floor there. Charged the things that needed charging, let the room do what it's there for. This day's the quiet practice, this day's the soft return. Reset what the week had worn down, make it something worth the turn. Sunday reset soft and easy. Room and body feel renewed. Water running, bath and music. Freely given and brand new. I'll be ready by the morning. Right now I am on the mend. Cooked a meal with actual focus, not the kind where you're half somewhere. Chopped the vegetables and tasted, added things without a care. Played the jazz hop while the onions turned translucent in the pan there. Neighbor's wind chime on the balcony, mixing with the bass guitar there. Ate beside the open window, birds in traffic, both in order. Message someone just to say hey, crossed the week off one more border. Scrolled a little, watched a video of a woman building a bookshelf. I could do that, I thought briefly, then decided that's a different self. This day is the quiet practice, this day is the soft return. Reset what the week had worn down, make it something worth the turn. Sunday reset soft and easy. Room and body feel renewed. Water running, bath and music. Freely given and brand new. I'll be ready by the morning. Right now I am on the mend. brighter than the week had left me. Lit a candle named for somewhere I have never been, but trust me, it smells exactly like a story. I intend to live 1 decade. Folded all the clean laundry, stacked in rows until it obeyed. Check the calendar for Monday, 2 meetings and a deck revision. All of it I'll manage, given 1 more evening of decision. Wrote down 3 things worth remembering from the week that just completed. Not too grand and small, and honest proof that I had not been defeated. Sunday reset, soft and easy. Room and body feel renewed. Water running, bath and music, freely given and brand new. I'll be ready by the morning. Right now I am on the mend. Evening closes, lights gone low. Ready now and good to go. Yeah. Cursor blinks at midnight blue. 1 more pass before I'm through. Desktop open, 17 windows. Reference board, a mood board pinned up. Brand guide says to keep it minimal. Client wants the opposite synced up. Adjusting kerning by a pixel, nudging shadows left and over. Every choice a tiny argument between the brief and my composure. Austin skyline through the window, building lights like scattered freckles. I've been at this since the afternoon, and now the hour past midnight beckons. Save a version just in case though. Drink the last inch of the water. Press command and zoom to fit it. Something feels a little shorter. The feed is quiet and the inbox waits. The city hums below the pain. I could wrap this up in 20, or I could let the groove remain. Late and deep inside the edit, baseline keeping time beside me. Analog warmth through the speaker, every beat a slow reminder. Craft takes longer than the deadline. Rhythm holds the room together. Pull the palette from a photograph. Someone's terrace in the autumn. Terracotta, rust and sage green made the layout feel less rotten. Opened up a font I bought once, never used it till this evening. Something about the weight and spacing matched the vibe I'd been conceiving. Drew a border, moved it 7 times, landed somewhere in the middle. Client brief said clean and modern. I say warm should be the riddle. Typed a comment, left a question for myself to check by morning. Save the file and close 3 windows. Kept the music and kept going. The feed is quiet and the inbox waits. The city hums below the pain. I could wrap this up in 20, or I could let the groove remain. Late and deep inside the edit, baseline keeping time beside me. Analog warmth through the speaker, every beat a slow reminder. Craft takes longer than the deadline. Rhythm holds the room together. There's a version of this life where I clock out early. There's a version where the work is never done. But tonight the canvas and the beat feel worthy, and the city and the deadline feel like one. settings medium resolution. Send a preview link by message. Client opens it tomorrow. I'll be sleeping past the pressure. Closed the laptop, left the window cracked. Austin breeze, cool and easy. Made a note about the color swatch. Something subtle, something breezy. Washed the mug and turned the lamp off. Left the speaker playing softly. Some things finish, some things linger. Some things carry you home gently. Outside taxis pass below me. Orange blur, emotion fleeting. I did enough and that feels honest. Worth the long and quiet evening. Deep inside the edit, baseline keeping time beside me. Analog warmth through the speaker. Every beat a slow reminder. Craft takes longer than the deadline. Rhythm holds the room together. Cursor still in project save now. Silence and the city stay. Same seat beside the window now. Same order, same familiar beat. Oat latte at my usual seat. Laptop open, work and wait a moment. Barista knows my name already. Drew a heart inside the phone for bonus. Tuesday feels like slow permission. Clouds outside like pulled apart cotton. Third week coming to this place. Easy place and mostly forgotten by the people passing quickly on their way to somewhere pressing. I arrive with a deck to finish, but the light keeps repossessing all the focus I had planned for into something more like resting. Maybe 30 more before I open, maybe 40 before the testing. There's a hum inside the corner, something low and always moving. Mix of strangers and their reasons. All of us here slightly proven. Cafe corner, hold me steady. Cup and screen and window view. All the world outside is rushing. I am here and I'll be through with the work before it's evening. Until then I choose this table. Me, stack of books and reading glasses, pencil tucked behind one ear now, marking things in colored batches. Couple near the door with strollers, one awake and one still sleeping. Someone on a call and whispers, gestures wide and contract keeping. Barista on the vinyl station, switched the record, pressed it forward. I recognize the bass line instantly, adjusted like a ship toward harbor. Opened up the brief and started, typed the line, deleted after. Something about the light today keeps interrupting my chapters. There's a hum inside the corner, something low and always moving. Mix of strangers and their reasons. All of us here slightly proven. Cafe corner, hold me steady. Cup and screen and window view. All the world outside is rushing. I am here and I'll be through with the work before it's evening. Until then I choose this table. Finally the deck got finished, sand it off and close the tab now. Order one more just because the music landed perfectly on that bow. Afternoon crowd thinner by now, mostly laptop types and studiers. I could leave but chose to linger, caught between two interior desires. Noticed someone at the counter wearing jacket full of patches, anime and band and cartoon, all of them unlikely matches. I pointed out the duck embroidered near the collar, small and yellow. They lit up and said they found it through a jazz playlist mellow. Cafe corner, hold me steady, cup and screen and window view. All the world outside is rushing, I am here and I'll be through with the work before it's evening. Until then I choose this table. Packing slowly. Some days just feel whole and holy. 6 o'clock, the light turns low. Nowhere I particularly go. My shoes beside the doorstep, grabbed the keys and left the laptop. Austin evening, warm as copper. Sidewalk still holds heat from midday. Corner store propped open slightly. Smell of bread and cold drinks meeting. Couple on the bench outside it, sharing something worth repeating. Down the block and past the mural, someone painted in the lockdown blues and goes in a small figure, arms stretched wide beneath the breakdown. I slow down and always linger at the bar with all the flowers painted thick and almost glowing like they grew from somewhere ours. Moving slow and without purpose, best way I have found to be. Sometimes the city needs no caption, sometimes it just needs my feet. Golden hour and the pavement, warm below an orange cast. All the buildings, all the shadows, stretching further than the past. I am here and I am walking, immense and real and vast. Took a left and found a new street. Hadn't been this way before now. Little house with purple shutters, someone's garden absolutely wild. Roses over the fence and trailing marigolds and broken pteropods. Cat regarded me with patience from a perch among the apricots. Pulled the phone out, shot the angle, light was perfect. Couldn't help it, soft and warm and perfectly golden. Everything, the feed deserves it. Kept on walking further outward, ended up beside the creek bed. Watched a heron stand completely unbothered in the current instead. Moving slow and without purpose, best way I have found to be. Sometimes the city needs no caption, sometimes it just needs my feet. Golden hour and the pavement, warm and low an orange cast. it, golden giving way to purple. Bats began to cross the tree line overhead in loops and circles. Austin doing what it does well, evening opening, it's quiet. Past the corner store again now. Bought a sparkling water, buy it. On a wave without a question. Neighbors on the porch with speakers. Someone's dog came sniffing forward, made a friend between the seekers. Home at last and slightly tired, in the best way, worn and settled. Took my shoes off at the doorway, kept the feeling soft and gentle. Golden hour and the pavement, warm and low in orange cast. All the buildings, all the shadows, stretching further than the past. I am here and I am walking, immense and real and vast. Shoes beside the door and dusty. Something in me feels adjusted. Drops tap soft against the glass. Let the whole dim morning pass. Pulled the blinds to watch the weather. Sheets of silver across the courtyard. Pigeons huddled on the awning. Everything outside looks postcard. Made a cup and wrapped a blanket. Legs folded on the window cushion. Watched a stranger share an umbrella. Two beneath, one slow and rushing. Austin doesn't get this often. Cold and wet and full of texture. Took a photograph of nothing. Fog and tree line intersect here. Opened up a save collection. Photos tagged as mood and reference. Earthy tones and overcast light. Everything with quiet reverence. On a day like this I don't need much, just a patter and a warmth to touch. No agenda and no place to run. Everything already feels like done. Rain against the window, steady. Gray is beautiful, I said it. Cozy corners and the kettle. Every drop a kind of metal. For the ones who stay inside and breathe. And let the weather be the lead. An article about slow living. Someone moved to rural somewhere, built a cabin, fixed a garden, learned to make things with their bare hands. I bookmarked it and kept on scrolling. Found a thread about color theory. Someone said that gray is layered, 50 shades of silver eerie. I prefer to call it honest, patient, silver, very steady. It asks nothing but your presence, and it meets you where you're ready. Wrote a caption for the photo of the fog outside my window. Paused before I pressed the button, kept it close and let it mellow. On a day like this I don't need much, just a patter and a warmth to touch. No agenda and no place to run. Everything already feels like done. Rain against the window, steady. Gray is beautiful, I said it. Cozy corners and the cattle. but the rain is doing something useful, washing everything I thought I knew. Afternoon arrived and nothing changed. Same pale sky and same percussion. I made noodles, watched a film, let myself avoid that discussion of tomorrow and its pressure of next week and its decisions. Right now there is only rainfall and the warmth of small provisions. Checked the time and it was later than I thought, but felt much shorter. Pour the last cup out at 4. Watch the steam dissolve to water. Sometimes days just need to be this unheroic, slow and gentle, filled with weather, filled with resting, filled with something fundamental. Rain against the window, steady, gray is beautiful. I said it, cozy corners and the kettle, every drop a kind of metal for the ones who stay inside and breathe and let the weather be the lead. Drops keep falling, room keeps glowing, quietness is always growing. Headphones in and bag on shoulder, city waking inch by inch. Crosswalk shows the little figure, white on black, I wait and linger, checking reels before the signal. Someone posted something clever, sticker on a storefront window, bunny ears and pastel gradient. I stopped to photograph the texture. Late by 2 minutes but patient. Austin sidewalk smells like coffee. Bakery on the corner open. Woman walking 3 small corgis. 1 leash tangled, 1 still hoping. Found a pin on someone's jacket, small frog in a green raincoat. Took a picture, sent it forward. Little things are worth the detour. A cute thing fixes up the day. The smallest find can light the way. I collect them like a language. Shelf of creatures soft as clay. Kawaii commute through the city. Duck on bag and stars on tote. Every tiny thing a treasure, each detail worthy of a note. Wandering past the ordinary, finding cute in all of it. Office building, lobby, marble, cold and tall and very serious. I pull out my phone and open feed of plush and cozy curious. Someone sewed a mushroom pillow, someone crocheted form so ancient, someone painted frogs on postcards. All of it feels so adjacent to the person I become when I am not inside the meeting. When the deck is closed and finished and my actual heart is beating. Bought a charm at lunch to hang on keys that never jangle quietly. Little rabbit with a ribbon keeps me company. Politely, a cute thing fixes up the day. The smallest find can light the way. I collect them like a language. Shelf of creatures soft as clay. Kawaii commute through the city, duck on bag and stars on tote. Every tiny thing a treasure, each detail worthy of a note. Wandering past the ordinary, finding cute in all of it. From Japanese design, that beauty lives inside the miniature and fine. That caring for the small things is a practice that rounds the edges of a sharper line. Train car crowded, earbuds in and beat turned upward. Spotted someone with a notebook covered edge to edge with stickers. Made a mental note to ask them what the brand was, what the series. Traded glances, smiled and nodded. Strangers linked by small inquiries. Station stop, the door slide open. Rush of evening air and motion. Spotted from across the platform, duck mascot and yellow ocean. That familiar beak and rhythm pulled me out of the routine there. Took a screenshot, saved it quickly. Sometimes beauty finds you anywhere. Kawaii commute through the city, duck on bag and stars on tote. Every tiny thing a treasure, each detail worthy of a note. Wandering past the ordinary, finding cute in all of it. Shoes beside the door. Small things matter more and more. Tote bag, folded paper cup. Saturday already up. Seven stalls before the crowd comes. Heirloom tomatoes stacked in pyramids. Somebody's playing acoustic somewhere between the herbs and honey exhibits. Austin stall stretched wide and easy. Checker cloth on every table. Peach preserves and local honey right from someone's repaired stable. Friend is 20 minutes later. Always late but always welcome. I'm already at the flower vendor, browsing zinnias, calm and seldom. Bought a bundle orange and yellow, tied with twine and slightly leaning. Tucked it under arm and waited, small abundance full of meaning. This weekend belongs to no one. This weekend belongs to here. Toting sneakers, muddy edges, everything is vivid and clear. Farmer's market morning golden. Fig and basil, bread and bloom. Two of us between the vendors, finding more than we had room. Cart and basket, slow and heavy. Best kind of a Saturday. Friend arrived with coffee extra. Said she'd seen a duck sticker somewhere at a booth near the ceramics. Had to find it, had to get there. Wove between the mushroom tables, past the candles, past the curtains. Found the booth, a local artist, handmade prints in frames of birchwood. Tiny duck in trench and raincoat, standing outside a Tokyo bookshop. Instantly I pulled out payment. Good design deserves a good stop. Bought two prints, one for the kitchen, one to send without a reason. Sometimes that's the best occasion. Nothing but the right to hear. Toting sneakers, muddy edges, everything is vivid and clear. Farmer's market morning golden, fig and basil bread and bloom. Two of us between the vendors, finding more than we had room. Cotton basket, slow and heavy, best kind of a Saturday. There's a rhythm to the stalls on a weekend, slower than the weekend, twice as full. Everything abundant and unhurried, everything an easy, gentle pull. Walk back home with bags of groceries, flowers poking from the top. Friend peeled off 2 blocks from my place, neither wanting things to stop. Made a plan to cook on Tuesday, something with the herbs and lemon. Posted 1 shot of the flowers, orange against the kitchen linen. Scrolled the comments while the water came to boil and turned to steam. Someone asked about the vendors, I sent back the whole routine. Sometimes Saturdays feel handmade, slow and warm and full of texture. These are the days I want to document, keep them close and keep them fresher. Farmer's market morning golden, fig and basil bread and bloom. 2 of us between the vendors, finding more than we had room. Garden basket, slow and heavy, best kind of a Saturday. Flowers in the jar beside the sink. Saturday's the best way I can think. Yeah.